And I'm not sure if it starts with the head coach or it starts with Roberto Luongo, but those are like the two big question marks heading into the training camp. How is the team going to respond to Tortorella? Is he going to, be able to come in and form a consensus, form a style of play, identify a leadership group, identify an identity for this team? These are things that normally take a year, 2, 3 years, and it's got to happen for this team. Basically in the space of training camp and maybe the first 2 months of the season, because this team is built to win right now. And then the other part of that equation, of course, is Luongo. What's his mindset going to be like? All those other things that have been, talked about and written about over the off season. But, for me, it comes down to a pretty simple question. How's he going to be playing? Because this team needs standout goaltending to remain competitive in the Western Conference. Well, I think the two big ones, and because they're such big question marks, are Zach Kassian and David Booth. And I think they need 17 to 22 goals out of both of them, and they should be there. They have some credentials. Booth has done it in the past in the NHL. He hasn't done it recently, and he's coming off a big injury. Kassian, they paid a big price for him in dealing Cody Hodgson. He's supposed to be that power forward with the scoring touch. I think people cut him a lot of slack this past season, but he's got to step up and he's got to produce like an NHLer this year. This is going to sound so vague and obtuse, but I think they have to gel. And I think that means like all the parts we've kind of talked about have to come together. So they're going to need standout goaltending. They're going to need buy-in to Tortorella's system with the least amount of friction possible. They're going to need players like Kassian and Booth to set up. They need a big season out of Ryan Kesler, which is probably something we haven't touched on. But they really need, probably the biggest thing more than anything else, is they need Ryan Kesler to get back to 2011 Kesler, when he was one of the 10 best players in the NHL. And if that guy returns, that changes a lot of things for this team. And they need the new faces, whether it's whether it's one of the kids or whether it's Brad Richardson, to step up and be big time contributors.
The team is built to win now. Is that window rapidly closing, as has been quoted in the media ad nauseum? Well,
and again, I hate to wiggle around it, but it depends, because the players aren't really old. They're kind of they're kind of in that late 20 to early 30 bracket, so there's no reason to think they're all over the hill, but there's something about the collective within the team that maybe looks a little stale, maybe looks a little shop worn, and again, I come back to this point about getting off to a good start to answer all those questions, playing with energy, playing with a purpose, and exciting the fan base, and maybe exciting themselves too, that this is a new team with with a new way of doing things and a new energy and a new personality and a new head coach. Yeah, like I said, I really think the first 2 months of this season are going to tell a story.